Hello there. I'm Kyo Sterone and Beatmaker. And on this episode of the Monday Mindset Podcast, we're going to be talking about having a vision. It's very important and crucial to have a clear vision when it comes to succeeding in your goals. Without a clear vision of your goals, your work towards them will become blurred. I live my life by having a clear vision of where I'm trying to go. Um, I've always kind of been like that since I think once I got out of high school, um, my senior year of high school really kind of opened my eyes a lot to what kind of person I wanted to be and where I wanted to go in life. Um, so that's when I started, um, really started having a vision of what I wanted to do with my life. Um, I knew it involved music. Um, I knew it involved songwriting. I knew it involved singing. I didn't know necessarily how to get there, but I knew that I would be able to figure out the path as long as I had a vision of what I wanted to do. And apologize. That was my dog, Pop. That was Pablo. Sneeze. There we go. Sneezing. Oh, my boy, he's got allergies. Oh my God, he's got a giant booger hanging out his nose. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's got a giant booger hanging out of his nose. No, no, don't bring that over here. Oh my God, dude, I'm podcasting right now, or trying to. Yes, I love you. Okay. Like I was saying, like, are you done? You done? Oh my God, he's eating his fucking boogers. I am so sorry. We good? You good? Okay, he's good. All right, we're back. um, and like I was saying about like for me having a clear vision of what I wanted to do. And I mean, you got to also keep in mind that like no matter what you envision on doing, where you feel like going, what kind of person you want to be, it's going to evolve over time. New interests will, take hold, or maybe whatever you envisioned, there's something else that kind of changes that you find more appealing or that's more comfortable to you, more of your lifestyle, more of what you see as a career path. But as long as you have some form of vision, you'll do okay. It will take time, but you'll do okay. With a vision comes a plan to succeed. And no matter what you're working towards, no matter what the vision is short term or long term, it's the only way you'll succeed and fail. And there's nothing wrong with failing. There's nothing wrong with having a clear vision in mind of where you want to go, what you want to do, what you want to succeed in, and maybe failing at the end. That's okay. But no one can take away from you the fact that you had a vision in mind. No one can take that from you. No one can say that you weren't being responsible, that you weren't planning, that you weren't taking this seriously, because you were. You had a vision. Maybe not all the choices you made along the path were the right choices. And maybe some of them were the right choices, but at the wrong time. And that happens. But you had a clear vision. And so you failed. Okay, start over again. Rework, revise that vision, edit it, take what you learned from the past mistakes, from the past failure, and apply it to this vision that you have. That's pretty much like something that I wish in the schools they taught more about. I used to be a paraprofessional. Um, so I worked in the middle school setting and I worked in the high school setting. So I'm very aware of um, the inner workings, how they teach, what they apply, what they don't apply. And one thing that they really, I wish that they brought back, or like, yeah, I wish they applied to their, health class, life skills class, like a life skills class, like how to, when I was in high school, they taught you how to balance a checkbook, how to um, do pay for plane tickets and things like that. They taught you math about how to live, how to pay bills, how to work with your, 401k, or how to, for timesheets, how to balance all that out. They don't teach that anymore. They don't teach any of those skills anymore. And I mean, let's take it a step further and let's teach how to have a vision, how to have a plan, responsibilities, accountability. They don't teach that in schools anymore. And I mean, if you're fortunate if you have parents that value those. Not everyone is fortunate enough to have that. And the only place they can have that may be in school. And even then, you know, it's a gamble, because if you're not at a good school, and let's be honest, even then it's a gamble. I worked in a very upper middle class school, high school, and it really, I mean, whew, man, the stories I can go into. But let's stay on path. Let's stay on task here. Vision. Um, what I'm trying to say is, like, we need, even as adults, like if there were free seminar classes about, how to have a plan, how to be responsible, how to get yourself together, that wasn't therapy. Not everyone can afford therapy, but if they can but a class that's just like, hey, let's just sit down and have a vision of what you want to do. What's your 5-year plan? What's your, not even, let's not even think about your 5-year plan. Let's think about your 6-month plan. What do you want to accomplish in 6 months? Because, one thing about me is, like, the visions that I have for my music, for my podcast, for my writing, other things that I have going on, like, I know the long term vision. I see it. But what I focus on right now are the short term steps that make that vision a reality. Right now it's kind of blurry, like I can see bits and pieces of it, but every now and then when I accomplish one little step, I can see more of it. It becomes unpixelated. Um, and even then, I can have a clear vision of it. I see the end path, but at the same time, I can't see it. And I don't know if that's something that other people can relate to, whether or not you're a creative person or whatever. If that, that vision, that plan, like my latest album that I released, True Colors, back in June, like I knew what I wanted the album cover to look like. I had it envisioned in my mind for years. And finally, the universe conspired in my favor and I met an artist that could make it a reality. Now, even though I could vision it in my head and see it, at the same time, I couldn't really see it. It was like blurry, but not really blurry. And when she finally drew it for me and I'm looking at it, like the vision became unblurred. And I was just like, wow, like it's real. This is actually happening. Because for a long time, the visions that I had for this whole album, like I wasn't sure if it would ever happen, because as much as I could see it, I couldn't see it in reality. And I think that's what I'm trying to say. So, like, when you see it finally in reality, when the vision that you've had in your mind, when you finally see it in reality, it almost it almost distorts your perception of reality, because something that you've had in your mind forever, for years, been thinking about it almost every single day, constantly trying to manifest it into reality, into life. And then it actually is there and you can't believe it because you're like, nah. And that was like for me, like I was like choked up. Internally I was bawling my eyes out because I couldn't believe that it was happening. And that's what's so magnificent and wonderful and mysterious about having a vision for your life is that when those certain aspects actually become reality, it's like, whoa. It's like this only happens in the movies and the TV shows, you know? And I don't know, it's just like we've all had a point in our lives in which we thought about the goals we are going to achieve, but we never bother to create a vision to see them through. And how many of us do that? How many of us talk and talk and talk and talk, but we never follow through with actually manifesting it into a vision? Whether that's a vision board, whether that's writing it down. I mean, we don't we talk about it, but we don't take any of the necessary steps. I've been there myself, right here with this podcast. There were certain things when starting the Monday Mindset podcast that I envisioned, but I was avoiding. But at the same time, I wasn't necessarily avoiding them, but waiting for the right moment. And and that can be distorted. You can really get that, distorted and mixed up. You can have that vision, but are you on the early steps of working towards that vision, and are you telling yourself, well, I'm waiting for the right things to fall in line, or am I just avoiding? Um, I don't want to follow it through because that might mean holding myself accountable. That might mean getting up a little bit earlier. That might mean being consistent. Check out my latest episode on consistency. So, I mean, and even that, when it comes to having a vision, you got to be consistent with that vision. You got to keep looking at it every single day, even if you can't see it, even if it's blurry. You got to keep looking at it. You got to stare that painting. You got to stare it down. Not even the painting. You got to stare down the canvas. And I think that's mind blown right here, ladies and gentlemen. We got a mind blown going on right now. The canvas. You have to stare at the canvas and listen to it, envision it. I have a song called Splatter on my latest album, True Colors. And like the first one, I think it's the first verse goes, mine splatters on the canvas board. Each drop, memories evaporate, feelings I recall, sensations enthralled. Within infinite regression of the artist, his temptation, the Alabama intersection for more than meets the eye. And that it popped up to my mind right now because it just like, the mind splatters on the canvas board. And that's how I look at having your vision. It's your mind, you splatter it onto the canvas board, you sketch it out, you trace it out on the canvas board. And each drop, memories evaporate, because in my mind when I say memories evaporate, it's just that those memories are evaporating of what you're trying to do, what you've been trying to do, and the feelings that recall, the sensations that enthralled, they manifest into the canvas with infinite regressions. We are the artist and we are the painting. The Alabama intersection where a famous musician went to meet the devil to become an incredible guitar player. How many of us have a vision and we wish that we could meet somebody or have the power instantly or the skill set, are any of us willing to head down to an Alabama intersection and wait until midnight to meet the devil? You tell me. You tell me. Because more than meets the eye. And the same with a vision. The more than meets the eye, because when when the vision becomes clear, when you can finally see the canvas, what you have created, there might be more there than you anticipated. You might have worked even harder than you thought you did. You might have even more opportunities. Your career might skyrocket even further than you thought. I mean, the whole, that cliche saying, the sky is the limit, but let's be real. That is a reality. Especially if you have a vision, you can soar through the sky. I mean, who doesn't want to do that? Who doesn't want to do that? But you got to have a vision. I have I say that, you know, they say it's the journey, not the destination. But I say the destination determines the journey. No different than the canvas, no different than the vision. And if you're struggling with this, if what I'm saying sounds like something you're currently experiencing, trying to get on that path with your vision, trying to actually follow through with it, trying to actually stare at that canvas. Because most of us have that canvas on the floor, but to actually put it up, to have the paints right there, to have the pencils right there. If you're struggling to sit down and envision, that means you need to change your mindset. And let's be honest, you need to change your mindset and you need to quit making excuses. Quit talking. Like I say, quit talking out your ass. Because a lot of people, they can smell the bullshit. Let's be honest. And that's just the reality of the situation. And listen, when I mean by excuses, I'm not talking about whatever your financial situation is. I'm not talking about those kind of situations, those aspects. But I'm talking about the excuses that you make because you don't want to hold yourself accountable, because you don't want to apply the work, because you want someone else to do the work for you, because you just want it to magically happen. Those excuses, those excuses will, you're not going to see anything. The canvas is going to stay on the ground. The pencils, the paints, they're just going to all collect dust. And you're just going to talk and talk. You're going to say you're going to do this, you're going to do that. You're going to say you're going to sit down, but you never do. And whose fault is that? I'm very big on choices. I always tell, like, I'm big on choices. Whatever choice that you decide to make, it will have a negative or a positive consequence. And when people make certain choices in regards to how they react, how they treat me, or in their own personal life, or anything like that, I'm like, hey, that's your choice. You're going to have to deal with the consequences of it. I'm not a petty person. I don't hold grudges. But if I need to distance myself from you, if I need to separate you from my life because you are not a positive person, because you're not bringing anything positive to my life, you're taking away from my life, from my energy, for what I'm trying to accomplish, I'm not going to associate with you. That doesn't mean that I think I'm better than you. It's because I value myself enough to not put myself in that situation. I value the canvas enough to not destroy it, to not let it get corrupted. Your vision goes as far as the work you're willing to put into it. And this comes with every aspect of your life, not just your goals, not just your dreams. You need to visualize. You need to visualize how each day, each week, and month contributes to the vision, to the canvas, the short term and the long term work, the short term details upon the canvas board that lead to the long term details. Rome wasn't built in a day. Neither is your vision. Neither is having a successful life, a financially stable life. And yes, given the climate of the world right now, how is that possible? How is it possible to succeed in your vision right now? Yeah. All right. Let's talk about that. How do you succeed in your vision with the way our country is and the way the world is right now? How? And let's not even talk about the world right now. Let's talk about it in our country. How do you succeed as an entrepreneur, as a single parent, as a college kid, as a kindergartner? I mean, I mean, if there are any kindergartners that are going to be listening to my podcast, I'm like, damn, all right, what is this, baby geniuses? Oh god, that's old school right there. You gotta love the '90s, man. Those films were the best. But like, what I'm trying to say is like, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. But it's like your vision. You have to have this. You have to see it through. You have to see where you're going with it. I mean, yeah. Now I remember. Like, how do you follow through with your vision right now with the world that we live in 2020? Pretty soon in 2021. How do you continue with your vision with our political climate, with the election coming up? I'm back on track now, ladies and gentlemen, and kindergartners. Oh god. But like, yeah, how do you do that? I mean, I'm doing it right now, doing this podcast. I don't know if anyone's gonna listen to it. Maybe some will, maybe many will, maybe no one will. But I mean, at least I'm doing it. At least I'm envisioning it. I mean, hell, the um the cover art for the podcast, granted, listen, I don't have Photoshop. I'm still learning. All right. Hey, sign over to my Patreon page and donate and subscribe to any of the tiers if you want to help Ronin Art and Music and the Monday Mindset podcast grow and have the graphic design capabilities to make a more cooler um cover art. But like, what I'm trying to say is like my cover art is Siddhartha, aka Buddha, and a photo of me that was taken last weekend when I went apple picking with a best friend of mine. And for a while I had this vision of this photo that I really like of Siddhartha and half of my face put together. And it says the Monday Mindset Podcast. And I had this vision in my mind. And I saw the photo and I was like, oh man, this is a great photo. Let me see if I can do it. All right, I did it. It doesn't work. The scaling is a little bit off, but it looks cool enough And everyone that I showed it to were like, oh, yeah, that's really cool. And hey, that's good enough for me. All right. I was able to envision it. I made it a reality. Yeah, it looks cheesy. And yeah, it looks a little wonky, but it also looks kind of cool. And for me, I'm a simple man. Like it doesn't take that much to satisfy me. And even if your vision, like mine, is a little uneven and clunky, but it still looks cool and you're proud of it and it actually happened and you're one step closer to the canvas actually being exactly what you want, that's an accomplishment. You should be proud of yourself. I'm proud of myself. So if you're in the same boat like me, be proud of yourself. Like I said, how do you succeed with your vision? You have to evolve, you have to adapt to your surroundings, to your mindset, while maintaining that emotional balance as best as you can and being consistent and having a routine. A routine is so important, especially when you have a vision. If you're a parent out there and you're listening to this, have your kids start having a routine. Besides the morning stuff, have a routine. Have them meditate. Just give them that routine. Have them, sit down with them. Okay, like we're doing the hybrid teaching right now. We're doing the hybrid classing or we're doing Zoom. Okay, even if they're in kindergarten, I know it's going to be a little bit harder, but be creative with it. Okay, sweetheart, son, we're going to do it this way. All right, we're going to you're going to do these little things. You're going to get little schoolwork done short term. This is what we're going to see. This is where we're starting here, and this is where I want you to be. Okay, but we're going to take little baby steps. I don't know anything about parenting, but what I'm trying to talk about is having that vision and applying it to every aspect of your life and to your family. Having that vision. Yes, I know when I'm talking, I'm like talking about kids. What are you talking about, Kios? You don't know anything about kids. You worked with, you worked in as a paraprofessional. Yeah, great, fantastic. But what I'm trying to talk about, what I'm essentially trying to say is like, even though they might be in kindergarten, kindergartners are smart. I mean, come on, look at the world right now. You give a kindergartner a phone and TikTok, and he might be a millionaire. She might be a millionaire in a couple months, in a couple weeks. So, I mean, these kids are smart. They're very perceptive now. You can apply these things to the kids just like yourself. They'll see it, they'll soak it up. They may not necessarily understand it right now, but as they get older, they'll realize it. For me, like, my mom used to make me always do like volunteer work when I was younger, and I hated doing it. Especially when we had this event, and she would have us volunteer, and we sit next to or stand next to a recycling bin and thank people for throwing the recyclables. And you know, I used to think this is so stupid. Why am I doing this kind of stuff? Why am I doing volunteer work? But because of that volunteer work, I was able to get employment and jobs. So I realized how important the volunteer work was because my mom saw the vision for me. She already had the canvas up. She was already working on things. And that's what every parent does when they have a kid. You have a canvas up for your kid and you have yourself, and you're trying to draw both. And sometimes you have help and sometimes you don't. If you have help and you have entire family, grandparents, uncles, then they're all imprinting on that canvas, helping, guiding. And we all need that, especially when it comes to our visions. With its friends and family, don't tell them everything. Please do not tell. Don't tell them everything. Just tell them enough. All right, I'm being honest here. As much, I don't care how big of a best friend they are. I don't care how long you know them. All right, I don't care that they birthed you. Don't tell them everything about the vision. Tell them just enough to support you and help you. Because sometimes they might not. Or sometimes they might take the idea. Sometimes they might shoot it down. They don't want you to succeed. They don't like the idea. They think they can do it better. And then what's the point? What's the point of having support? There's no support. They're just telling you how to do it. They're just living your dream vicariously through them. F that. Don't let anyone steal your vision. Don't let anyone steal it. It's yours. You created it. You manifested it. You nurtured it. It's yours. Don't let anyone take it. I mean, and and that comes with having a positive and insightful vision, because this can have ripple effects, massive ripple effects that can motivate and inspire others to follow in your footsteps. And that's part of the reason why I said don't tell everyone the entire vision. Tell them just enough. And even then, tell them, but show them. More importantly, don't even tell them, just show them. Because they might see that and it might motivate them. It might motivate them to support you more. It might motivate them to, you know what? Wow, he's doing really good. Wow, she's really motivated. She's driven. She's really succeeding. Man, I got to soak in some of that. I got to soak in that energy. I got to figure out what she's doing so I can get on that level. I mean, like, and that's not only are you creating the canvas for yourself and your vision, you're helping other people dust off their canvas board, their pencils, their paint, and actually start applying to it and actually start following through with it. I mean, what is there's nothing in my opinion, there's not a better feeling than you really succeeding with your goals, you following through, people are seeing the growth, and then all of a sudden you see them growing. And I've seen that. And let me tell you, that warms my soul and it motivates me and it drives me. Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to see their friends succeed, their family succeed? Because honestly, it makes me driven. It makes me want to work that much harder. And it makes the vision that much more, what's the word I'm looking for? That much more tasteful, because you can almost, you can smell the aromas of other people's visions of their canvas, and you're like, wow, that tastes good, man. That's what, so that's what succeeding tastes like. So that's what following through tastes like. So that's what growth tastes like. You know what? Or smells like, I should say. I want some of that. We can all be leaders. Literally, we all can be leaders. We don't all have to be followers. Being a leader is being a follower. If we're all leaders, we're all following each other, because we allow everyone whose strengths to let them lead. And we are following them, but we're also leading at the same time. Be a leader and a follower at the same time. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with leading when you need to and then taking a step back, letting someone else lead and learning from that. And then when it's your time, you step up. That's friendships, that's relationships, parenting, love. I mean, really. For the future is in your hands, but you must be willing to visualize it. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Monday Mindset Podcast. Please, please, if you want to support the Monday Mindset Podcast, head over to Patreon and look up Ronin Art and Music. Check out my tiers and feel free to subscribe. Any help would really help to grow Ronin Art and Music beyond this small little thing that it is. And please, any kind of support, share this with your friends and family, any like minded individuals, anyone who's just looking for positive affirmations, positive motivation, inspiration. The Monday Mindset Podcast and Kyosu Ronin Beatmaker is here for you. Ronin Art and Music is a positive thing. Please go over to Patreon, search up Ronin Art and Music. You'll see my handsome mug. Go over there and please subscribe to one of my tiers and donate if you can. It would really be fantastic. And if you can't right now, then all I'd ask is if you share Monday Mindset Podcast and just share it, bring it out there, find support. Please leave comments, any critiques. I'm gonna keep on growing and adjusting with it. I know the last couple episodes there were little funky sounds, got a little too passionate, but I'm learning. So please head over to Ronin Art Music on Patreon.com and please support me if you can. And that's all I got to say for this week. Stay positive, stay focused, stay true, and much love.